Hi, welcome to Breastfeeding with Sarah. I'm Sarah, your lactation consultant. Every journey must eventually transition into its next stage, and today I'm going to talk about the process of how to gently wean your toddler. The ending of the breastfeeding relationship should have just as much attention and care given as beginning the breastfeeding relationship. Weaning does not have to be and should not be a hard or traumatic experience. It can be a sweet and meaningful transition into the next phase of your relationship with your child. I have been lucky enough to have guided countless families to navigate their weaning process, and I'm going to share with you the top 10 ways to approach gentle weaning. This will help make the process a positive one for both your child and for you. And in a special ending of this video, we'll hear readings of real letters from parents that they wrote to their toddlers on the day of their last breastfeeding. Come join us. Now, I want to redefine the concept of weaning. It is by definition a gradual process. Your child has begun the process of weaning once they started their first solid foods. They gradually have been getting their nutrition met by other ways. They've also begun the process of weaning when they have learned to get genuine comfort and connection from you in other ways and from other family members. Weaning is not meant to be an abrupt process, and I highly recommend not weaning your child cold turkey unless there are extenuating circumstances. This video will go through the ideal steps when there's enough time to make it a mindful process. First, let's talk about when you should wean. What age is the right age to wean? The answer to that is completely individual and personal. It is up to you to decide when it is time. Consider the information from the World Health Organization and American Academy of Pediatrics that it is medically recommended to breastfeed for at least 2 years to support the health of both mother and child. And see my video on breastfeeding toddlers to learn more. Next, consider the personal and individual factors of why you want to wean and consider if weaning would really make your life easier. Many of your toddler's needs get met with breastfeeding, and if you are not breastfeeding anymore, those needs they have still need to get met. These needs are both nutritional and emotional. So would it be easier to wean from breastfeeding and meet their needs in other new ways, or continue to meet those needs with breastfeeding? Only you know the answers to that for you and your child, and you will know when you are ready to take these next steps. This video will only be discussing weaning a toddler, which is at or older than 1 year old. So here are the 10 steps to follow to gently wean your toddler. Number 1, remember that what your child really wants and receives with breastfeeding at this point is a loving physical connection. Weaning is the process of transitioning to meet those needs through other ways. Your toddler will not stop having those needs, they will just be getting met in new ways. Number 2, be sure they are getting enough nutrition from other sources. This is not as much of an issue for toddlers as when weaning infants, but still worth noting that they need good attention to their nutritional nourishment as breastfeeding ends. Number 3, create a timeline for when you want the weaning to happen. Think gradual, meaning this process may take several days up to many months. Their age and developmental level usually determines the timeline. Generally, the younger the toddler, the longer the process should take. If your toddler is old enough to understand, it is a good idea to let them know about the timeline and be positive about this as a graduation of weaning that they are approaching. Number 4, start by cutting out 1 breastfeeding session per interval until you meet your timeline goal for complete weaning. Start with the easiest one for the toddler to let go of, like in the middle of the day or when they want to nurse when injured. With each breastfeeding session you cut out, substitute it with an alternative form of meeting your child's emotional and nutritional needs. Number 5, reduce the time spent at each nursing. For example, agree to nurse, but limit the time by counting to 10 through the nursing session, or singing a lullaby through the session and then stopping the nursing session when that ends. Give choices for alternatives at that point. Number 6, night wean. The nighttime nursings are commonly the last ones to go, but for some families, they stop nighttime nursings in the beginning stages of the weaning process. If you'd like a resource for how to night wean a toddler, here's a book I recommend reading to them called Nursies When the Sun Shines. Number 7, involve your partner or other family members more in routines that breastfeeding used to be a part of. For example, have your partner be more involved in nighttime parenting or in reading to your child as they go to sleep, or having them give cuddles or go make breakfast with them first thing in the morning. Number 8, expect and welcome crying as a way that your toddler will express their feelings. Allowing your toddler to feel their feelings and letting them know they are valid is important. Acknowledge their feelings and avoid any shaming for their crying or missing breastfeeding. This is one of the most important components of making the weaning process be trauma-free. Number 9, explain in a way that your child can understand. I encourage parents to come up with a story about a fictional animal family where the child in that family is going through the same transitional process as your toddler. And so you can explain what the feelings and experiences are for the child in the story in a way that mirrors what your child is going through, so they can process their own emotions easier. Number 10, celebrate. Give meaning to your toddler and to yourself about what a meaningful transition this is for both of you. Take the time to reflect on your breastfeeding journey together and what it's meant for you. Acknowledge how bittersweet the ending is at the same time you celebrate the new beginnings that weaning offers. I encourage parents to write a weaning letter to their toddler on the last day they breastfeed. Whether they ever end up sharing it with their child someday or not, it can be an important way for the parents to process the end of this journey. Let's listen to some real weaning letters written by parents who have recorded them to share with all of you here.
Dear Leah, today you are 1,172 days old, almost 3¼ years old, and it was a special day. This evening at bedtime was the last time I breastfed you. That means including from the day you were born to today, I breastfed you almost every single day for those 1,173 days. My milk has been drying up and you certainly don't need my milk for nutrition anymore. So together, 5 days ago, you and I jointly decided to make today the last day. I've been talking about my milk going away for a while and you've been commenting how there isn't much anymore. So I told you it was time to end soon. I asked if 3 days was enough time, and you asked for 5 days, so we chose today. Incidentally, you always negotiate for 5 of everything these days. You and I have connected physically even when I didn't feel confident or sure. I love that I could give you steadiness and assurance with my body, even as I wobbled and figured out how to grow as well. Tonight, you fell asleep nursing, and then I slipped my nipple out of your mouth, as I so often have, and I started to cry because I knew this was the last time we would connect this way. Dad was laying beside us, singing our bedtime songs together, and he held my hand as I held you. He's been such a huge supporter of our nursing relationship too. It's healthy and good that we are both growing and moving to the next stage, but it's a big chapter to close and to which we are saying goodbye. I know that tomorrow and for the next couple of days, you'll probably try to negotiate with me for milk, but pretty soon we'll move on and you'll focus on other things and find new comfort. In a while, I'm sure we'll look back and barely remember today, but I wanted to pause and capture my thoughts this evening so you'll have a snapshot of what we shared and how much it meant to me. I will still talk about breastfeeding as you grow up because I want you to know how normal and natural it is, despite the cultural influences around us. I'll try and influence you to look for ways to tap into that natural wisdom in your body. And if you choose to have a baby, to trust that this is one of the most critical things you can do for your baby's healthy development, physically, mentally, emotionally. The long and short of this letter is that I love you and I've breastfed you so long because it felt like such an important choice to make for you. I'm so grateful I have and always will, and I'll always treasure my memories of all the cuddles, snuggles, and the power to help you calm down and go to sleep. I'm actually kind of worried I'll lose that power now. With all my expanding love, your mom, or mama as you currently call me.
Rylan, my love, tonight will be our last Nursies together. Just shy of 3 years we have been on this nursing journey together. From every few hours a day to twice and then once a day, we got to snuggle in together, take a break from whatever we were doing to just be together and share love and nourishment. I got to allow my body to work in this miraculous way in making and sharing both a healthy food for you, packed with all my built-in immunity, and offer my body and presence to help you grow both physically and emotionally. It wasn't always easy. In the beginning, it was actually very hard, but it was always worth it. It was hard when you were born because you had laryngomalacia. That's a mouthful. And your throat muscles made it so that you didn't get all the Nursies you needed from nursing for a while, at least. I pumped and I did Nursies with you, and then I'd pump again and we'd do Nursies again over and over, day and night, all the time for many months. I loved the days I got to be home with you. It's what I looked forward to when I was away from you. Sometimes in the beginning, and really until about 2 years old, I would call our pumping breastfeeding guru and friend, Sarah Hollister. She helped me to keep my chin up when things got difficult and had faith in me and my mothering when I felt like I didn't know what I was doing. I'm going to write her a thank you card after this letter. But here we are, and you are almost 3 years old. The time has gone by so fast, and I wish time could slow down, but it is its own unique and mysterious thing. You are by far the best gift of my whole life. Nothing can surpass you and your presence in my life. So yes, Rylan, it's time for Nursies to go, and I think that both of us will feel sad and happy about this for a while. I will be sad to not do Nursies with you after tonight, and I will be happy for all the time we did get to do them. And we get to do cuddles and kisses and hugs, even more of them now. Cuds, Kit, and Huh, that's our nicknames for them. Rylan, you can always tell me when you are sad and missing Nursies, and I will cuddle you and we can be sad together. Change is hard. Life is full of change. I will always be here for you, Rylan. Thank you, Nursies. Love, Mama.
My dearest Rylan, when you were born, you were so small. I could hold you in one hand like a squirrel. You were even too small to eat food. So your mama gave you her Nursies so you could grow and be close to her and feel happy and relaxed. You grew and grew and grew. And then you began to eat food like Mama and Papa eat. You ate smoothies and beans and blueberries and mozzarella cheese. And you still got good food from Mama's Nursies, and you loved cuddling up to her to get them. Then you got even bigger. You learned to sleep without Nursies. You learned how to ride a bike. You learned to go pee-pee in the toilet. You learned songs and stories and jokes. You can do so many things by yourself. We are so proud of you. You've gotten so big, and now Mama's body and her Nursies are tired. It's a big thing to stop doing Nursies. Maybe you're happy that you're not a baby that needs Nursies anymore, but maybe you're sad too. It's a big change. Whenever you are sad about this, you can tell me, and I will give you a hug. You can cry or cuddle with me or Mama, and you can just talk about it too. I'll be there for you and for Mama. The real good news is that you will never be too big for cuddles and hugs. We will give you cuddles, hugs, and kisses whenever you want. You just have to ask. Rylan, we love you as big as the mountains, and we are so proud of you and all you can do, with tons of love and hugs. Papa.
Congratulations on your successful breastfeeding journey with your child and for creating a meaningful end phase of that journey. Please share this video with friends and family who are breastfeeding their toddlers so they can have a resource to make their weaning story a beautiful one.